But first, we've got a Fox Business alert. Can we officially call 2020 the year of the retail investor, the individual investor? Bank of America's Merrill Edge self-directed platform seeing a spike of 140% in trading volume this year versus last year. Popular retail investor app Robinhood. So we've been talking a lot about them, but when the Merrill guys come along, these are more of the old school traders. Boy, you can say that. It's really strong. Robinhood says daily visits are up 260% since January. It's no surprise that some of the most popular stocks traded on Robinhood include Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft. And if they invested in them, you can see how well they have done. But other names on the most popular list may surprise you. American Airlines has been very popular. That one's in the red, down 45%. Plug Power moving higher by 1,024%, and GoPro up 101%. Is the retail investor back? And our traders, our floor show traders, are about to say what might be their favorite stocks in 2021. Tom Hayes, Phil Flynn. Tom, let me start with you. Take a guess. Which stocks do you think will grab the retail investor's attention next year?
Well, Liz, they had two sides of the market. First and foremost, they outperformed the professionals coming off the March meltdown in the markets. National Bureau of Economic Research put out a report, and they said they not only did they not panic, they did not have margin calls. They were a stabilizing factor in the markets because they were buying what professionals were selling, and they were being greedy when others were fearful. So they won. They also bought the high-flying tech stocks. They bought the Teslas. They bought the Amazon, Peloton, and Zoom. So that worked as well. These are younger investors. They have a longer time horizon to make it back. They're not scarred by the great financial crisis or the tech wreck, so they have no recency bias. And I think they're going to continue on this trend in 2021. I think they'll be going for the disruptive tech IPOs, which can be a little risky because buying stocks at 100 times sales doesn't generally work out well over the long term. There are a few exceptions. Yeah. But if they continue along with that bargain hunting and add to the cruise stocks, the airlines, but maybe add other left for dead sectors like banks, like defense stocks, like energy, they could have sustainable gains in the coming years that can last a lifetime. This is a unique opportunity, and I think they're well positioned for it, Liz.
Okay, so see this, Delta Airlines. Phil, I would imagine the Delta Airlines, which, I mean, we fly it all the time. I think they are best in class. They are still down about, I want to say, 64% year over year. Well, the year high was $62.48. So you would definitely not buy it at the high there. But what other stocks do you think? I mean, we hear about DocuSign has been so popular, but again, that's run up. At what point do you think that the individual investor looks at some names that are so beaten down, they've got to come back at some point?
You know, I think using Delta Airline is a perfect example. In fact, when Delta was getting crushed in the beginning of the crisis, I had a lot of phone calls about Delta and other airlines saying, hey, Phil, is this time to buy? And, you know, to be honest with you, you'd have to be a little concerned to say that because, you know, some of those firms could have gone bankrupt if the government didn't come in and bail them out. But, you know, from a long-term perspective, these guys were smart to look at that. But I'll tell you what, you know, this is a new, young, hip investor. Remember, we used to look at the retail guys and say, if they're going that way, we want to go the other way. Maybe they've earned their trading stripes and we need to start following them. And I think in the new year, based on what they did last year, I think they're going to pick stocks that normally we would look at with a skeptical eye. You know, for example, Coinbase right now, look at the crypto space right now. This is going crazy. Yeah. Big money's coming into this. And you're going to get an IPO of the first crypto exchange next year. I know based off what we've seen from previous IPOs, these Robinhood guys are going to be all over that. And the other thing I think, you know, a lot of these Robinhood guys are younger and hipper than me. I don't even know. Do you use HIP anymore? Is that well, anyway. And I think they're going to be looking at the gaming stocks, right? There's an IPO coming on Roblox this year, which is very popular with the younger set. They know these games. There's a lot of developers on here, so I think that's going to be hot. And your traditional ones like Activision, I think, will be really hot with the Robinhood crowd.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll be interested to see, but it is definitely a change of sort of genetics when it comes to these retail investors who for so long